Hello. Today I'm going to talk to you about some expressions of quantity and expressions of quantity that use of sometimes, and some expressions of quantity use it all the time. Let's get started. Look at these three sentences. Which sentence is incorrect? A lot of books are interesting. A lot of my books are interesting. A lot books are interesting. The one that's incorrect is the third one. The reason it's incorrect is that some expressions of quantity, like a lot, must have the word of. Here's some expressions. A lot of, lots of, a number of, a great deal of, a majority of, plenty of. Some others are half of, hundreds of, thousands of. With all of those expressions, they're followed by the word of. And they're followed by the word of 100% of the time. Look at these two sentences. Are they both correct? Many books are interesting. Many of my books are interesting. Here, both sentences are correct. With the word many, sometimes we don't have of, but with many, sometimes we do have the word of. Here's a list of some expressions of quantity that sometimes contain the word of. We could say all students or all of the students, most people or most of the people, almost all, many, much, I don't have much homework, or I didn't do much of the homework for this class. Few, little, one, both, several, some. All of these expressions sometimes use of and sometimes they don't. The question is, when do I use of and when do I not use of? Let's look into that. First, what's the difference in meaning between the two sentences? Many books are interesting. Many of my books are interesting. The first sentence, many books are interesting. In this situation, books is general. And the second one, many of my books, in this situation, books is more specific. Now, what word makes it specific? The word is my, and that is a word that gives us the possessive. Okay, some other words I could use here would be many of my books, many of his books, many of your books, many of our books, many of their books. So, if we're talking about when do I use of and when do I not use of with the word many, here's the rule. If the noun is general, like books in the first sentence, then we do not use of. When the noun is specific, I need to have the word of. And one way I can make that noun specific is by using a possessive form. I could use a possessive adjective like my, his. I could also use a possessive noun like many of Dan's books are interesting. Look here, we have many books are interesting. Many of his books are interesting. Many his books are interesting. Which is incorrect? Did you guess the third one? Yes, that one is wrong. Because when I say his books, then it's specific. So I need to use of. In the first sentence, I'm speaking many books. That's general, so of is not necessary. How about here? Which is incorrect? Many people are watching. Many of those people are watching. Many those people are watching. The one that's incorrect is the third one. And the first one. Many people is general, so the word of I don't use. And the second one, I have this word those. Those makes people specific. So whenever the noun is specific, I use of. Here I've used those. Other words that could work would be these. If the noun is non-count, I could use or these, those, that, or this. Now, let's look at these sentences. Which is incorrect? Many books, many of the books, many of books. And in this situation, the one that is incorrect is the third one, many of books. The first one is general, so of is not necessary. The second one, I've used the word the to make the noun specific, so of is necessary. So, what other words go with each rule? Many of tests. Here we have the possessive, making the noun specific, and when the noun's specific, I'm going to use of. Many of these, those tests. Here I have these and those making it specific. If I have a non-count noun here, there are situations where I could use this or that to make a noun specific, and then I would need to use of. And also I use the definite article the to make the noun specific, and when I do that with many or other expressions of quantity that sometimes take of, then it's specific, and yes, I need to have of. So once again, I've talked about two groups of expressions of quantity. The first group always has of. So I always need to use of with a lot or half of or hundreds of or other expressions of quantity. But there's another group of expressions of quantity that sometimes use the word of. Many students, when students is general, I do not need to use the word of. However, if I say many of my students, the noun is specific. I've used the possessive, and in that situation, I must have of. I hope this helps clear up any confusion, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.